Hey guys, welcome back to Battlefront Updates. Hope you guys are all doing well. I really wanted to make a video today and talk about some recent, news basically about Battlefront 3, which makes me really sad. And also, since this is the question I probably get asked the most, are we getting a Battlefront 3? Let's tackle that topic too, although I've obviously done that in the past. But I really like to sit down and have a chat with you guys about recent events in the community, the channel, and such. First of all, I'm sorry for being a little bit more inactive lately here on the channel, especially when it comes to streams. It's basically because I've gotten an extra job now at a disc golf store 4 days a week, coupled with the back-to-back trips to Star Wars Celebration and the Survivor event, and trying to run 3 channels at the same time. So I've basically had to prioritize a little bit, and my clips channel is doing really well right now, so that's obviously where I've had to put the focus. So I apologize for the lack of streams. They will be back, don't get me wrong, but when I've got this extra job for the next 2 months, it will be a little bit trickier, but content will be out on all my channels, I promise you that. And Jedi Survivor is creeping up closer and closer now. We're less than 2 weeks away, and I'm super hyped to bring you content from that game when it gets out. I still haven't fully decided how exactly I'm gonna cover it, with spoilers and whatnot, but I'm sure I'll figure something out closer to the launch. Before we get into the Battlefront 3 talk, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my sponsor G Fuel for continuing to support the channel and help me bring you guys this content. It really means a lot, and recently I finally got a chance to try out their cans, which are phenomenal. If you live in the US, you've probably seen them in the stores by now, but they're pretty hard to get a hold of in Europe, which is why I was really happy to finally get a chance to try them out. This month they're actually running a really good deal where you can get 30% off any of their starter kits if you use my code SHEEV, and 20% off the rest of their stuff. So if you haven't tried out G Fuel before, head over to the link in the description below and use code SHEEV. You will greatly support the channel if you do so, and I really appreciate you all using code SHEEV over the years. Thank you very much for that. But now let's talk some Battlefront 3. So what are these news I'm talking about? Well, as you probably know, there are actually multiple cancelled Battlefront 3 games, and the most recent news that I wanted to talk about is about Free Radical's Battlefront 3 game. You will see some gameplay in the background from FUSA from a couple of years ago, and this is basically like the 2008-2009 version of Battlefront 3, which, as you can see, is quite rough. It's from like a pre-alpha, but for its time, the things they were doing with that game was definitely incredible. And you don't really expect to hear much new stuff about this cancelled Battlefront 3 right now. But one of the lead designers over at Naughty Dog, Michael Barclay, tweeted something quite interesting today. He was actually the level designer over at Free Radical Design between 2007 and 2009. And he said the following: I feel like it's been long enough now to come out and say that Battlefront 3 was gonna be legit incredible, and the fact that it got cancelled 2 yards from the finish line is an absolute crime. Gamers don't know what they were robbed of. And with all the various types of leaks we've had for this game over the years, it's really shown how far into development it actually was. And as much as in this very moment I'm obviously more pissed off about the cancelled EA Battlefront 3 after what they did with Battlefront 2, it still makes me sad to see that we've had multiple Battlefront 3s cancelled. And this one actually pretty far into development. Obviously, Michael alone was working about 18 months on this game as a level designer, so it wasn't just something in the prototype stages. We still don't know exactly why it was cancelled, but from what I've seen, LucasArts was simply not happy with the performance, the bugs, and the unrealistic scope of the game. But seeing a lot of developers speak out about it, it really makes me sad that this never saw the light of day, as it seems like both the story and the gameplay mechanics they had planned was something truly special. And while we're talking about this, why don't we discuss the recent Battlefront 2 and the cancellation of that Battlefront 3. I haven't really talked much about that on the channel, simply because we haven't really had much details on how far Battlefront 3 was actually into planning. We basically know that they cancelled Battlefront 2, and soon after that, most of the Battlefront developers actually left DICE. Well, a couple of months ago, some of you guys might have seen that Dennis, the previous design director for Battlefront 2, was actually in my livestream chat and talking a little bit about, Battlefront 3, and he straight up said that the reason to why he left DICE was because he wasn't allowed to make Battlefront 3. And he told us that apparently they actually had, not actually a running prototype, but a concept for Battlefront 3. And the way you usually test this before getting into development is that you do a kind of blind test to random gamers, where you tell them about a concept of a game, and then they will tell you, does this sound interesting, what's good, what's bad, and such. And these tests that they ran for Battlefront 3 over at DICE was apparently the highest rated blind tests like that they had ever done, showing that Battlefront 3 that Dennis and the crew actually wanted to make and had plans for had a really good plan. And knowing how much the community has asked for Battlefront 3 for the last couple of years, the demand was by far there. They did such a phenomenal job of turning Battlefront 2 around that I think they got everyone's trust back, thinking that if they can turn the shitfest that was Battlefront 2 at launch to the masterpiece that I honestly call Battlefront 2 right now, what if the same people got to build a new Battlefront game from scratch? That would have been ideal. And it still makes me so sad that to this day we've had multiple cancelled Battlefront 3s, all of which sounded really good. Are we ever gonna get another Battlefront game? You know what? My honest guess is no. Because I think all the studios realized that it's better to make a Star Wars game with a new title and franchise with no expectations from the beginning. Whereas if you call something Battlefront, you expect a campaign, space battles, heroes, villains, huge battles, small battles, all eras. The expectations just get tenfold higher than if you were to make a limited game that is only a shooter, or only heroes versus villains, or only single player. And that's kind of the curse with Battlefront, and why I think we're never gonna get another Battlefront game. Someone feel free to prove me wrong. It would make me very happy, but as of right now, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Anyways, I really appreciate you all supporting the content across all my channels, and for showing patience now that I haven't been able to live stream for a while. But overall, I think Star Wars games are in for a bright future, even if Battlefront might not be part of it. Thank you for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.